So now coming back to your tenure at NCB. So how was it like? Like what's the day like?
It was great actually, because I grew up on books like all these Western novels and all the James Bond and all those stuff and all. See, as you're growing up in those days, we had no TV, we had nothing. Right? We only had radio, but we had books, and so we read, and we visualize ourselves wanting to do that and be that and all. So as an investigator, I cut my teeth in the department of GST, but then I said I needed something more, and I wanted to do real investigations. And so I got an opportunity to go on the deputation to the NCB, and I realized my dream, my ambitions. We work like a lot of what you see in Western movies on crime and everything. Really doesn't, the cops and all really don't do that. You understand? Because I've had opportunities to work with in the NCB, to work with foreign police officers and everything, and they say no, it's not like that. But the movies has to dramatize it larger than life. But don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that we don't do it. We do those jobs. You understand? We really do those jobs, and removing the drama and all the adventure there is a lot of thrill. You're going after the kill, you're trailing somebody, you're stalking somebody, you're keeping surveillance, all type of surveillance, electronic surveillance, visual surveillance, all these things, which I think youngsters would only want to do, who really have it in them. So these jobs give you that opportunity.
So yeah, every day is like a new...
Every day is a challenge. You get up in the morning, and you don't know what information you're going to get, what intelligence is going to come your way, or which informant is going to call you early in the morning or late in the night and says, we need to talk. And then that's the challenge. Then your blood starts racing from there, that anxiousness to work on what's coming now. And then suddenly you have an opportunity to get into a case and pick up people, make the arrest and everything. That's pretty satisfying. I mean, it's a type of an adrenaline rush. You understand?
Okay. But aren't you like, I'll not say afraid, but I don't know, scared to some extent, because you're dealing with the real bad guys, right? The guys with drugs and...
See, there are situations which we have come across, like there was a time we had to climb the pipes of a building to reach to the flat. Sometimes we had to kick open the doors. A lot of those things had to happen to get, to make a case, Sometimes there is violence in our raids and everything, but that is only because they choose to escape, you understand? Or they choose to destroy the evidence, and that's some violence, and that's all acceptable. But then the bigger threat comes from the underworld. You see, the thing is that the underworld is like this. We are doing our job, you're doing our job. So as long as you don't come onto our side and you're doing your job, it's fine with us. We have no problem. We are doing whatever chori we are doing, it's your job to catch us. That's fine, we understand that. You're doing your job. But the day you get involved with us, then now you're moved on to our side of the fence. So then our laws is applicable to you.
In the sense, the day you're...
If you betray us, then you're in trouble. Because you're no longer an officer now, you're working for us.
If you joined, if you are a corrupt officer...
Yeah, so if you don't do that, they won't bother you, they won't threaten you, they won't do a thing, because these people also understand we are doing our job. They really won't want to get into...
So if you go into the corrupt part...
Yeah, if you're involved with them for whatever way, need not be corruption or anything, so many other wrong things you can do. And then, I mean, you jumped over the fence onto their side, then their laws are applicable to you, and you have to face it. But when you're not involved with them and you really don't give a damn about what they are doing, but you're doing your job, they wouldn't bother. They said, you do your job, we are doing our job. Our job is to do chori, our job is to do catch us, fine. That we are okay with it.
So they respect the the roles that.
Yeah, I mean, the big underworld, they do that. They don't. Second thing is, you should not make your job a personal vendetta. See, therein, there is a big danger. And sometimes when you make it a personal vendetta, even though you're not on their side, but you're personally targeting one guy and going after him, I think that's when you can get threats and retribution. Because he'll also make it a personal thing too. Oh, you're now making it personal. Well, let's make it personal then. If that's the route you want to go, well, I can play that also. So our officer has to be a little careful on that thing and just do your job professionally. And nothing can happen to you. There's no risk. But as I told you, risk is there in the raid and this and that. That's acceptable.
In all the kind of job.
Doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen many a time. So many of our officers are assaulted.
Assaulted in the sense?
Yeah, assaulted. By the type you're going to raid. Sometimes a lot of things happen there. But it's fine. If you're used to, you should be ready to fight.
And that rush to...
Yeah. But you know, the biggest advantage we have here is we are the guys who are right. And psychologically they're on the back foot, they know they are scared.
Right. Yeah.
But we are not, and if you're scared, they can understand you're scared. There is a primal instinct between both of us going. Like they can know the cop is scared or something is scared, so he immediately react with you. But if you show no fear, he gets scared because he knows you're the law, and he's the outlaw. So you have that advantage at that particular time to make it known to him. Look, this is it, right? So then
So you have a psychological advantage.
Yeah, and if you're not, and in the raid you got to be very careful. Stay far away from them. If you have a weapon and this and that, because they can use your weapon against you. So you got to be very careful. A lot of things are there.
And also the drug scenario in India, right? At least I've heard of cases, like a lot of cases coming out of Punjab and some pockets in India.
Oh, that Urta Punjab, what you're trying to...
Yeah, we have only those knowledge, right? News and whatever we get from the media. But what do you think, like India's case when it comes to, drugs?
You see, I'll tell you something. This drug wars between countries was being waged from in pre-independence time. Like if you must have heard about the Opium Wars. If you Google it, you'll get an idea. The Opium Wars was done by the British. They could not conquer China.
Okay.
So what they did, they decided to send a lot of opium to the China, make the youth addicts.
Got it.
You understand? And over a period of time, conquer China. It didn't work. It backfired. So what happened is when the Indo-China war broke out, the Chinese used the same thing on all the soldiers who went to fight in Vietnam. Most of them came back as drug addicts to the US. You see?
Got it.
The third instance I've seen is coming to this Uttar Punjab thing. The background is this, is that even Pakistan is trying to adopt that thing and trying to, get our youth on the borders addicted to, especially Punjab, addicted to heroin and opium, so that they can, that was the whole game plan of Pakistan. But these things don't work. Yeah, but the funny thing is that it did work with the Chinese against the Americans soldiers. And you know that after the Americans came after the Vietnam War, there was a huge addiction problem in the US, and which is still going on. It has not stopped or abated. So these are the things which happen. Countries have tried to wage opium wars against each other. But now coming to the larger scene, or drug scene. See, many people think that there are two aspects. The Narcotics, NDPS Act, Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act of 1985, which was enacted in India in 1985. It has two objectives. Going by the law of economics, the law is on demand and supply. Unless there's a demand, there'll be no supply. You understand? So, taking cognizance of these facts and the fact that we have to now deal with demand and supply. So, the demand is also part of the NDPS Act. Now, what is a demand? Is to reduce the demand. You understand? So, by reducing demand, there's a whole chapter in the NDPS Act which is dealing with this part. And the money which the government gets from sale of confiscated properties of drug traffickers, and also by grant by Parliament, a lot of money is given into all these de-addiction programs which are being held across the country. Means sensitizing children in colleges and this and that, de-addiction rehabilitation programs and all government hospitals, and all the funds come from that particular thing. The idea is to reduce the demand. You understand? The supply reduction side is the law enforcement. We try to stop the supply. So these are two aspects which are covered in the NDPS Act, and the government deals with both.
So suppose if the youth, someone reaches out to someone else for asking for drugs, so the guy who reaches out is like responsible as well, like.
Yeah, of course he'll be caught. Because there's again, why did you demand? Because if you didn't demand, we wouldn't have a problem in the first place.
But he has not taken it, he has not purchased it yet, only he sent some message and.
It depends on the investigation, when both are caught, what comes out in black and white. What he says and what he says. You understand? Now dealing with this addiction problem, what is the genesis of addiction? A lot of people, I've heard people saying, oh, that we have done a lot of enforcement activity across the city and now the drug trafficking has reduced.